Hey there, it's Rechelle from Regional Collab, and I thought I'd just do a quick video. So today we had a huge day. We had the day start with a business coaching session with our awesome business coach Kamal, and during that session we talked about imposter syndrome, and he said to me, you know what, you should probably do a video about that. So I thought, yeah, let's do that. So imposter syndrome is really interesting. If you don't know anything about my background, in a nutshell, and this is like the Cliff's Note version of it, about 5 years ago my husband passed away from cancer, and prior to that we'd owned a hotel and been running a business together, and prior to that we'd been in Canberra for a good sort of 17 to 20 odd years, and both had some fairly high level positions. I'd worked in a majority of really kind of large organisations, including Department of Finance, the Migration Review Tribunal, and we decided that we wanted to come back to the country when we had our first child, and that was all great, but unfortunately he was diagnosed with cancer about sort of 18 months into our change, and all of a sudden everything had to kind of shift. My whole world was basically shifted off its axis, is how I describe it. Sorry about the flies, they're so annoying, but anyway. So essentially what happened was we came back to the country. Alistair unfortunately passed away, and I went through a period of obviously really difficult grief, and had to work out what I was going to do moving forward. I had some choices. I could have gone back to Canberra. I wanted to stay in the country because I really, between Alistair and I, we decided we wanted the kids to have a country upbringing because we felt that that was a better option for them. And so essentially I had to decide how I was going to make our new life without Alistair, but also honouring his legacy. So I found a job with a local council, which is where I met Annie, and the rest is history because she sat with me through all of that grief. I'm pretty sure she knows the stages of grief better than anyone, including all the bacon that you eat. And yes, that is a stage of grief, and if you ever need to have a chat about it, get in contact with me. But essentially I had to make a decision of how I was going to move forward. What I knew is that I've always been really ambitious in my work career. So ambitious that Alice used to call me raise the bar Rechelle. So, I do one thing and I go, right, what's the next thing? And I do that next thing. And he used to sort of find that really quite amusing because I come home and go, oh, guess what? I'm now doing X. So when I got back to the country, I knew that, and this is absolutely no aspersion on country at all, but what happened was I knew that I was going to get to a particular level and I probably would have to sit there and that would be my life. So for me, I needed to look for external validation so that I could continue doing work that made me, happy and passionate about what I was doing, but also obviously bring home the bacon and pay the bills because that was now my new life. It was from 2 incomes down to 1 and all of the stuff that comes with that. So essentially what I did was I started looking for some external validation, and that came in the form of me doing some further study, and I went and worked on myself with regards to getting on some boards. And so I went and did the Women on Boards program, which was just amazing. It was really difficult at the time because I was like mid-grief, and I feel for them because I was like some crazy lady who was trying to learn how to make, herself a prime candidate for board opportunities, but I was grieving for my dead husband and worrying about my children. But the upshot of that particular piece of work that I did for myself was that I ended up on the National Rural Women's Coalition, and everything from there allowed me to continue working with a passion on the stuff that I loved, and it revalidated for me what my skill set was, and it started little by little chipping away at what I thought was my imposter syndrome, because I honestly didn't think I could do it again. I thought, wow, okay, so maybe I've had my 20-year career, maybe that's the pinnacle of everything I'm ever going to do. But Women on Boards actually helped me to see that I had skills that were transferable and that could be used in really different environments. And so I took that on with a gusto and ended up joining the National Rural Women's Coalition, and subsequently a couple of years later I'm now the vice president of that organisation. It has taken me to the United Nations twice, which has been amazing, in New York. I've spoken at the UN. I've spoken on being a widow at the UN, it was the most empowering thing that I could have ever done. And what it's done for me is basically reframe the conversation I've had with myself around that feeling of imposter syndrome. So essentially, each step that I took moving towards what was a new me, having to redefine what my life looked like without a husband, without all of the stuff that we'd decided that we wanted to do for ourselves and our children. I could still do that stuff, but now I had to do it as me. I wasn't doing it with a partner. I had to kind of reframe how that was going to look. So for me, reframing the conversation in my head that was constantly telling me, I don't think you're good enough for this, life's giving you a bit of a kick to the head, Rechelle. You could just sit back and people would understand that shit's happened and it is what it is. But because I'm raised the bar, Rechelle, I decided I had to keep moving forward, and I needed to show the kids that there was a way to keep moving through grief, and that there was a way to honour their dad and honour myself by continuing to do the work that I needed to do. So National Rural Women's Coalition kind of saved me. So did Annie, and so did Bacon. That's a whole other story. But moving forward, 5 years after Alistair has passed away, last year I was named on the 100 Women of Influence list for the Australian Financial Review, which is completely mind-blowing. I've been nominated on the Pro Bono Australia Impact 25 list 2 years running now. So I was nominated last year and I've been nominated again this year. What that has done for me is just let me know that the work I'm doing is valuable and worthwhile. And it's let me see that even if you think that within the thing that you're doing now, you're not feeling validated, go and look for something that you're passionate about and follow that and just keep on doing it one step at a time. I promise you that you will get to a place where you kind of have that moment and you go, aha, this is what it is. This is what I'm meant to be doing. This is my passion and this is where I'm meant to go. So I hope this has given you a little bit of insight into who I am and also given you a little bit of inspiration. Because, we all go through some really tough stuff. I am not the only person who has had stuff happen to me. There are so many people who have had stuff happen to them. And I absolutely am inspired every day when I look at what people have done to actually move themselves forward through what are almost impossible circumstances, and just know that you can do it. And it's okay to unpack and have a moment and lose your shit, because I do it a lot. But put that away and keep going one step at a time, and keep telling yourself that you can do it, and keep telling yourself that it's okay, because I promise you it is. You do get to the other side of it. Okay, I hope this has been okay as a discussion. It's a bit kind of heavy. My 2 dogs have just run up and are licking my feet, so I think I might go now and have a glass of wine. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.